All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The Larry Steinhouse Show.
All right, we're finally back here. We're finally back here after a month, Omri. But you know what? I know everybody was listening to the show before us, so I want to wake them all up.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, whatever. We are here.
Wake up, everybody. It's time for the Larry Steinhouse Show. All right. So check it out. I want to say good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome you all to the Larry Steinhouse Show.
Yes.
Of course, we are broadcasting live from Investor Schooling headquarters right here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I am Larry Steinhouse, and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. And I'm here to make financial education fun and accessible to everyone, including you, Omri.
Me?
Including you.
Thank you.
All right. On this show, we discuss several ways of making more money. We concentrate on real estate investing, stock options trading, the stock market, and how to maximize your retirement funds. And you could call us anytime during the show at
855-939-1137.
Well, I haven't heard that in ages.
That's 855-939-1137.
I got goosebumps, Omri.
That's 855-939-1137.
You see how he's holding that microphone?
855.
the way he's holding the microphone, exactly.
939.
If you're watching online, you can see it's hysterical.
37.
I mean,
That's
just the way he's holding the microphone.
939-1137.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, I'm hot.
You are definitely hot now.
I'm hot.
I tell you, I got hot from watching you hold. I got hot.
I'm hot. I'm hot.
You know, and you lost what, 20 pounds?
I don't know how. No, really?
Yeah. How much did you lose?
Could be. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Omri's looking good, right?
I'm moving from kilos to pounds all the time. I keep making myself uncertain, so I will know that I'm losing something.
You don't know if you're weighing yourself in kilos or pounds?
So I'm just keep changing the
Did you want to do the
scale
intro?
all
Yeah,
the
I want to
time.
finish the intro. You're right.
Yeah.
Actually,
We
I should
should.
finish the
Yeah,
intro.
we should.
We're also live here on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And please leave us a comment. Let us know you're watching.
Please.
We're our normal listeners that probably all fell asleep because they were listening to PHC, the show before us, put them to sleep. All right. Anyway, I'm here with my awesome co-host, Dr. Deb Anderson, the smartest person in the room, always.
Always.
And, of course, I'm here with Omri Morad, also known as the immigrant.
I am.
Who is davening right now. Mm-hmm. He's crazy. We also have our sweet producer,
Sweet.
Glenn Page. And Glenn Page is ready to take your calls and get you on the air to discuss finances, real estate, the stock market, and even politics. So give us a call at
855-939-1137. Don't put the music. 855-939-1137.
All right, the Larry Steinhouse Show is brought to you by Investor Schooling. At Investor Schooling, we teach you things about money I bet you never knew. We focus on practical learning, and we will equip you with the real-world skills in real estate investing, stock options, tax savings tips, and the secrets of financial freedom. Our headquarters are right here in Bucks County, but our online courses teach eager investors all over the country. You can RSVP for a free class this Thursday night at investorschooling.com.
Investorschooling.com.
Say it again.
That's investorschooling.com.
I love how he holds the mic. I like that he was holding it before with the two hands.
He's just so he's so
erotic
today.
He's so
erotic. You know what it
today.
is? It's like we haven't done the show in a month live.
Woohoo!
So it's like really good. So yeah, if you guys are listening and you guys missed us, just a couple of things. We were awake for 2 weeks, and Omri got sick, and it was blah blah blah.
Every time it was
so that's why
else,
we weren't here for a couple of weeks. It's just a weird set of weeks, but we're here live again today, and we're so glad that you're here with us. That we're really hoping you're going to call us and ask us some really good questions.
Please do.
What's the number?
855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. One day, somebody will ask you, what did you do in the show today? And we said the number. What else did you do? We said the number.
Too? How many people come into Investor Schooling and they meet Omri for the first time and they want him to say the phone number? It's so funny.
It's just ridiculous.
It's just really funny that they do that.
Where is the 855 guy? Where's the 855 guy? Where is it?
Where's the guy, the phone number guy? Yeah.
Because then nobody knows your name. Still nobody knows your name after all this.
Right.
Yeah.
They do.
That's the best when they don't know your name.
They do.
They do?
Now
your
they
name
do.
is?
Now they do.
I think I got Omari last time. Somebody asked.
Omari is a
Somebody asked me.
common one. Yeah, that's a common one.
I get Omari.
Many of my tenants call me Omari. I don't know why. There's no A there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, part of it, do they text you with it or do they say it?
No, they say it.
Okay, so I've noticed that when I say Omri,
Yeah.
my phone either interprets it as Ari or Omari.
Yeah, I get that. When I do that
And
auto,
it drives me freaking crazy.
every time you ever see me text you and it says Omari, it's because I'm voice texting it and it picks that up for some reason. Yeah.
All right, so Omri, I have a question for you.
Go.
So I've noticed this the last couple of weeks where we haven't been here, that people are blowing up Teslas.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about blowing them up. I hear that they are basically taking a spray paint and taking their aggression on it.
Yeah, and putting Nazi symbols, swastikas on.
I saw the Nazi symbols.
How dumb can these people be to start with? But my question to you is, are you worried?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I have my idea of what to put at the bottom of the graffiti that the person will put on my Tesla.
So if somebody puts a swastika on your Tesla, what would you put?
I'm going to put the name of the artist at the bottom with his phone number or something. We'll see.
If you can find it, yeah.
I have a few ideas.
That'd be a great idea if you can find it.
Yeah.
Now, do you have Sentry mode on your Tesla?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay, so
now you made people come and destroy my Tesla.
Well, I don't know what yours.
What is Sentry mode? What is that?
So Sentry mode, basically, the cameras that you use for the self-driving can also be a security system.
Okay.
And if somebody tamper with your Tesla, they will record.
Okay.
And there's some interesting recordings of people. You can see their face. I mean, it's great recordings.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't realize. Okay.
So there's a lot of people getting caught that are messing with people's Teslas.
Okay.
So I find it absolutely fascinating that Jews are going around putting swastikas on other Jews' cars.
It's all over the place, right?
Yeah.
We saw that in the riots after the murder kill of Floyd, right?
How do you know that they're Jews who were doing it? Why do you say it's Jews? Like, why would
It doesn't. I don't know if it's specifically Jews, but it's all. I believe that I agree with Larry. It can also be Jews. It's everybody. It's because
it's Jews doing it. It's anybody who is anti-American or brain dead. And when I say brain dead, all they do is listen to CNN and talking parrot points about how Elon Musk is an evil human being and he's a Nazi. I mean, I'm so sure that Elon Musk wakes up every day and thinks about how many Jews he's going to kill. I mean, that's what his life is all about. I mean,
I saw something. I saw something earlier about how it was one of the big universities that Trump threatened to take $400 million of aid away if they for the Palestinian.
That's Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia. Yeah. So I
which
thought
is great.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, it's about time. You take terrorists. You take them if you're a terrorist and you're a college and you're endorsing terrorism, take away their aid. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's more than that, because they're here. They're coming here. Okay, and you know how much I hate immigrants. But they're coming here, right? And they are getting their degree. And during the ceremony of getting their degree, they are facing their back to the flag. They are not willing to stand in front of the American flag.
It's disrespectful, but I don't think it's illegal.
So the fact that the university will give a stage to that kind of behavior is a problem to me.
I agree with that. Yes, I agree with that.
They should never allow that.
Yes.
You come to this country. So I will ask you a question, okay?
Sure.
Do you think that a non-American, resident, not a tourist, should put his hand or should put her hand on the heart when they...
To read the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes.
I don't know. I guess it depends on how they feel. But they should at least stand up out of respect for everybody else.
And and what about if you go to a sports game? Okay?
Right.
And they sing the anthem, right?
Yeah.
The national anthem.
Yeah.
Will you put your hand on the heart?
Do I?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm asking others.
But here's why, right? Just let's just use the words, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, right?
Yes.
So basically that right there says that you're pledging allegiance to your country and the flag of your country, right? Mm-hmm. So you've come here as an immigrant and you want to be part of this country, So it makes sense for you to put your hand on your heart and pledge that allegiance.
No, it's not that. I am respecting a country. It's
No,
not a human being.
okay,
I'm
hold on,
respecting a
but
country.
Do you want this country to become your country?
Maybe one day, yeah.
So, and that's what I mean. Like, so if somebody comes here and they're visiting and they're on an H-1 visa, let's say they're just working here.
Yeah.
And they plan to go back in 2 years or 3 years when the H-1 visa, it's actually a year and a half, isn't it, for H-1? But anyway, when the visa expires and they go to a sports game, should they be obligated to say the pledge? Should they be obligated to put their hand on their heart? Should they be obligated to stand up? What do you think?
I think so. I think so.
I don't think they should be obligated to do any three of those things.
Okay.
I think they should at least be obligated to stand,
Obligated and showing respect are two different things. So when I say obligated, like, should it be a rule that they should have to do it? No, but out of respect, they should stand. But they don't have to read the pledge.
How
they're not pledging allegiance to the United States.
No.
Right,
How do you show respect?
By standing. I think by standing.
Thank you.
Right,
I
by
think
standing,
they should
show
at least,
respect.
they should
Right,
at least
exactly.
show
Right.
respect.
I put my hand on my heart in the national anthem because I'm showing respect.
Right.
That's how I think about it. Those people come here, they go to the university here, they get their fancy degree here, and they are not willing to show respect to the country that made this happen for them. That's the problem for me.
Right, it's respect by standing, but they don't have to pledge allegiance to the country. If they're not going to be part of the country, they don't have to pledge allegiance to the country. That's just my opinion. It doesn't mean anything.
They are not willing to look at the flag when they get their degree. It's ridiculous. They are not willing to look at the flag. At the country.
That's fine. I get it. I mean, they have the right to do that. It's disrespectful.
It's extremely disrespectful.
If I went to Canada or if I went to another country,
yes,
and they were singing their pledge or whatever it was, I would stand up. I wouldn't repeat the words, but I would just stand up out of respect.
Agreed.
But that's just me, and look, we're in a country where you're allowed to do things like that. That's not taking a
under what? The freedom of speech? It's not the freedom of speech.
Freedom of life.
That's
freedom of life. That's more than freedom of speech. Now, if somebody took took an egg and threw an egg at the flag, that person should be arrested, and they should have a severe penalty because they did that. But that's very different than someone who just didn't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And if they didn't stand, they didn't stand. I mean, look, you got these football players who knelt to the national anthem.
They what? They knelt. They were on their knees.
They kneeled, and you know about this, or you kind of like came into the country right about the end of this.
No, I know what happened in Israel, for example, but okay.
No,
why they knelt?
Because they wanted to. When Trump was president the first time, they wanted to show how they felt that they were being oppressed. Yeah, we're a multi-million-dollar football player, and we're being oppressed. So they're being oppressed, so they're going to kneel to the flag and show their disdain for America by doing that.
So I think that what's going on, for example, where I'm coming from in Israel, shows that regardless to what the politic map shows, the country is still your country.
Right. Agreed. And these people, so they were hired by the NFL to play in a game, and the NFL has rules that say, listen, you have to respect the rules, and what the rules are, you have to stand for the flag. You don't have to sing. You don't have to put your hand on your heart. You just have to stand. You have to be respectful.
They kept their jobs?
Yeah.
Not all of them. So,
Yeah, and the ones that didn't, they got millions of money thrown at them.
Yeah. I mean, it was disrespectful. And now they know no one can do it. If they do it now, they're going to be thrown off the team.
Good.
They're going to be not allowed to play. And it's great.
There is a difference between agreeing with someone to showing respect. I don't agree with you all the time. Right. I still show respect.
Right.
That's the point in life.
Absolutely.
And people don't get it.
Yep.
And
right. But some people are just not born to show respect. And that's just the way it is. It's unfortunate that you will see people, they don't have respect for property, they don't have respect for people, they don't have respect for women. I mean, it's just the way it is. They don't have respect for men. They just don't have respect.
If we accept that, we create a different norma than the norma we are living in.
So everyone's normal is their own normal. That's another
problem.
It's truth.
No, I don't agree. I don't accept that.
Okay. So what do you think normal is?
I'm saying norma, not normal. There is norma in life.
Okay.
There is norma in life.
Right.
There is a reason why I'm sitting in front of you right now with clothes on me.
Right.
We have norma in life. We should salute to this norma.
Right.
And respect.
And
this
why you're
norma.
wearing men's clothes instead of women's clothes.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So, are you saying normal or norma?
Norma.
What is
knowing Omri, he's
Norm.
talking about
norm.
He's talking about
the
what the norm of the
Call it the norm. Yeah.
the norm?
right,
Okay,
right.
all right, okay.
There must be, right? There must be a norm in this society, so we will know how to behave.
Okay.
Right,
That's the
exactly.
thing.
All right.
Norm. Got it.
So
Got it.
I mean, that was a. By the way, for all you people listening, we are a financial show.
We are.
But it's funny. So here's the thing about our show, especially if you're listening for the first time. Look, we just talk about whatever we want. We've been doing this show for 7-8 years or ish or something like that, right?
Time, yeah.
Right. And what happens is, eventually, it's saying the same thing. This is where you should invest your money every week. It's boring. So we decided to just take the show into whatever we want to take the show into. So we started talking about Tesla, and the reason I brought up Tesla is because of Tesla stock.
Yeah.
So to go into the financial part of Tesla stock, I find it hysterical that you've got like Tampon Tim talking about how he's so happy that Tesla stock is going down because we're going to punish Elon Musk. We're going to not make him the richest person. We're going to only make him the second richest person in the world. I mean,
So the
do
only
you
thing
think
I don't-
he even cares?
The thing I don't understand is, weren't they all for Tesla? Because then we get rid of gas-powered cars. And
So
this is all
I
electric?
don't think
And
so.
now that this is all switched, like I don't understand that.
I think Elon Musk is the first. No, not Elon Musk. Tesla was the first company that say you will buy our car because it's a good, fun, cool car, and not because it's electric. It is electric car, but you won't buy it just because it's electric, just to show I'm green. No. Toyota Prius won that battle, right? Now we are making a fun electric car that you will buy because it's a good car, not because it's another electric box.
Right, which is what Tesla started out as. So this is something cool.
Exactly.
This is a cool car. It's something different. But then they had the incentives to buy electric cars, and then you had the green people going, look at me and my Tesla. I spent $130,000 to show you that I'm not going to burn gasoline, and who cares?
Exactly.
It wasn't helping anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't doing anything, and it was like I'm going to spend $130,000 so I don't have to pay for gas.
I'm not sure.
Which is the silliest thing ever.
Yeah, I'm not sure the Tesla people were like that. I don't know if it's true. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But Tesla was beyond just being an electric car. And I think what's going on right now is, first of all, let's talk about that. Tesla is more than just Elon Musk.
Of course.
It's a great engineering.
It's not even Elon Musk. Elon Musk is just, he's the guy who kept the company going when it was nothing.
He's
I mean, he's a CEO, which, by the way, I think he should step down, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
yeah.
But so I want to talk about the stock for a second, okay?
Sure.
And and Tampon Tim and his whole organization of people saying, Tesla stock's going down, which is bad for so many reasons. First of all, most people's 401k is invested in Tesla stock. Many ETFs are invested in Tesla stock. So to wish the company to go down, you're basically saying, yes, you're our base and we want you to have less money. So that's
I'm willing
terrible.
to get hurt by showing some principle of...
Right, exactly, right.
Yeah.
Right, like these guys going to jail now for 20 years because they sprayed a swastika or burned a car. But I want to talk about the stock for a second. So check this out. In October, the stock hit a peak of $261, just around $262, right? The stock right now is at $250. So the only thing that made the stock hit $450 was when Trump won.
Yes.
The whole market took a shot up.
The Trump bump.
Right, the Trump bump was huge, and every single stock that I've noticed, or almost every stock I've noticed, has fallen down back from the Trump bump
To where it was before the
to
election.
where it was.
Yeah.
So Tesla's not going down.
No.
Tesla's just not in the Trump bump anymore. It's not even like you're punishing the company. Now, I personally think that's weird. I personally believe my buy price for Tesla is $185, and I was really looking forward to it hitting that before I bought it. But the problem is now it's really weird because we got the conservatives are now buying Tesla stock, and a lot of the funds are buying Tesla stock because in retaliation of the Dumbocrats, beating it down. So the Dumbocrats are actually making the stock go up.
And yet, where are they putting their money? In Rivian?
First of all, you know where they're putting their money, right?
Where?
They don't have any.
Okay. And yet they took it off the stock. So
Unless, of course, they're Adam Schiff, who's been stealing money from from the government for years, and Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them.
Yeah.
And they don't care. They just no longer have a place to. They can no longer get the insider information.
No, Larry,
to steal the money.
I'm asking people that sold their Tesla stocks right now. What are they doing with their money?
I have no idea. Whatever they want.
So I think that people that follow those electric companies, those automotive companies in general, will look for a place to put their money. And maybe it's a good look to see what will happen to Rivian in the next few months.
So Rivian hasn't moved up because I actually thought that.
Yeah.
And Rivian hasn't moved up. So unfortunately, the whole green, debacle. Now that everybody's realizing, maybe we shouldn't be so green by proving that by burning Teslas.
Again, it's not the green.
But it is because now you got manufacturers like Rivian, and they're saying, well, maybe I shouldn't buy an electric car and I should just continue to burn gas. So that's why I think electric car sales are going to go down now.
You talk about people that will buy the Rivian truck instead of the F-150 just
or the
because,
Cybertruck.
Or no.
Oh,
the
okay.
the Rivian instead of F-150 just because it's green. And I don't know
Right.
how many people will do that.
Well, that was the problem 2 years ago. Nobody would do that. But every once in a while, you get somebody go, hey, look, I bought a truck and it's green. Because they just don't understand.
Not because it's a good truck.
Not because it's a good truck, right?
Okay.
Right. I just, my biggest problem with electric cars, is that I can't wait 45 minutes to 2 hours to charge them. That's it.
Yeah.
Your car's nice. It's inside. It's not as comfortable as I thought it would be, but it's not bad. It's a nice car. You have the Tesla X. You have an older one. You have a 2016, so it's 10 years old already.
Yeah.
But a new one might be really nice.
Yeah, they are.
I don't want a 3 or a Y because they don't have a dashboard in front of you. They only have the center console.
Yeah, the screen.
And that just freaks me out. That makes me feel like I've lost control.
Yeah.
Right? I just want to see in front of me. So I don't like those cars at all.
Yeah.
Right? The new X still has the dash in front of you, so it's okay. And I think the S still has a dash in front of you. So I would only buy an S or an X anyway.
Don't remember, yeah.
But I'm still at the point where the cars, so, they're okay. They look the same. It just doesn't look anything exciting, which is why I didn't want a Tesla in the first place. And the fact that I have to charge it for 45 minutes to 2 hours was the other reason I didn't want it.
Yeah, I got you.
So it has nothing to do with, pro Elon Musk or anti Elon Musk. Although right now, in Warminster by us, there's a protest going on. In front of the Tesla dealer. Yeah.
Really? What is the protest?
And the only reason I'm not there, because I wanted to be there.
For what?
I wanted to hold up a sign that said, "Fire Elon Musk. Democrats need the money." And then I went to hire another one that says, "Kill Elon Musk. He's been killing Jews for 10 years."
Larry, what are they protesting against? It's all about that he's a Nazi?
They just don't like him.
He's a Nazi. He's not even a Nazi.
Listen, I know. What do they want?
It's
want that, or he fired so many people?
They like the way things are going. They like to have government waste.
Yeah.
And
so it's the government waste.
Here's the spin. The spin is like this. We took apart the Department of Education. We dismantled it, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Then all those kids are not going to learn anything. No, since the Department of Education has come on, kids have learned less. We went from number 1 in learning to number 40-something in the world.
Yeah. Right?
Since the Department of Education, come on. So maybe there's something wrong with the Department of Education. So they canceled all that and he killed it. So now the Democrats are saying, little Susie's not going to learn anything. No, little Susie's not going to learn that she could grow a penis. That's the real difference. Right? And we could get rid of all that DEI crap and all this other crap.
Did you see that they want to put condoms in preschools? Did you see about that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, they want to put
for the teachers?
No, for the preschoolers.
No, but for the teachers?
What?
For the teachers who are pedophiles.
No, so they want...
Stop. No,
they won't reproduce.
I was reading how the Democrats want to put in all the schools, they want to have vending machines where they have condoms there.
Why in a preschool?
Including in the preschools.
Why?
Because they have the right to have safe sex. Preschoolers.
It's just
your son Ozzy.
I can't even imagine how stupid Democrats are. I mean, it's just like the stupider, the more they talk, the dumber they get. It's just amazing. But Anyway, I don't, I know we're supposed to be talking about finances.
We should.
And I was talking about Tesla stock, but it just like this,
we immediately withdrawn to politics.
The world is unraveling as we see it, and we're starting to see what's going on here. By the way, anybody want to call in?
You should at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Let's bring a subject, and maybe they will call and discuss with us.
All right, let's talk about something else besides politics for a couple of minutes.
Sure.
All right, I wanted to make the point of Tesla stock that wasn't.
No,
a big
it's
problem.
not that bad. This company is not going anywhere.
No, it's definitely not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
No, I mean, I don't know how the stock maintains that kind of a value. It's still trading at 122 multiple, which means it's trading at 122 times what it's worth.
How can Tesla worth so much compared to Ford or VW? I don't get it. Because
it's technology. So Ford doesn't have any new technology. Ford is using everybody else's technology. They're not using Tesla's technology. Tesla has the technology. I mean, Tesla's going to come out with robo taxis coming up real soon. And look, we all know what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is pretty soon, no one's going to own a car anymore. They're all going to be self-driving cars. You take out your phone app, you click, I'm going from here to work, and a self-driving car is going to come pick you up, be there exactly the amount of time that you set it to be there, and it'll take you to work. You get out of your car, and that'll be it.
I'm sad.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, we got a call. We got it looks like Lee. What's up, Lee?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's going on?
I just want to make a comment about Jimmy Kimmel. I think, his sarcastic remarks. He's a jerk.
What did he say? I don't even know.
I'm not even. I can't remember. I just remember that he smiled when he said, "Don't do any violence because of Tesla."
Oh, okay.
The whole Tesla thing, and he had like a smirk. And also, I wanted to tell you that I have a very good friend that just bought a brand new Tesla, and he actually bought it. I believe he picked it up at the Warminster place this week. But anyway, he told me that he was at the one in Cherry Hill, and they were protesting there last week, and all the people that work at the Tesla there, they set off all the car alarms of
great.
the Teslas just to
That's
make
hysterical.
them go away.
That's hysterical. I love it.
Yeah, so that's all. I just wanted to make that comment, and that's it.
All right,
and I think it sucks.
So I have a question for you, Lee. Would you drive a Tesla?
I would, yes, but I'd be a little afraid.
Would you? See, I would love to buy a Cybertruck right now, and wrap it in the American flag, right? But you know what?
Well, yes, for that reason I would. But being that I live in Philly, I don't know. I'd be a little afraid because I'd have to park it on the street.
Yeah, it's a good point. But I'm just not going to make.
It's the same thing as. It's the same thing as putting a Trump sticker on your car.
Yeah,
same kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a shame. So I used to drive around. I don't know if you ever knew this. I used to drive around with a car, and it said "Let's go, Brandon," and it was hysterical because.
Okay.
And I used to get people. Everybody would wave. Some with 5 fingers, and some with 1.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you just have to laugh at it because it's just, the whole thing is just ridiculous, and these people are. The only thing I can say is people that are doing it are really, really dumb.
Yeah, I know. It makes absolutely no sense, and they're going to spend a lot of time in jail. I
hope
it's now becoming a terrorist act.
Good,
which is fantastic.
Yeah, well, let's hope they do. Let's hope they do.
Oh, they will. It's going to be fun.
I know, to watch.
So when are you going to come visit us at Investor Schooling, Lee?
I'll try sometime. I work a lot.
Well, if you want to work less, come to Investor Schooling and learn how to make money that you don't have to work so hard and make and spend so much time at work.
Okay, I will try and
all right.
work that out somehow.
That's the barrier
And then
that
maybe
everybody...
I can get a Tesla after that.
There you
Maybe,
go.
yeah.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you listening, Lee. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
So we're going to have, I'm not going to, it's not after commercial, it's in the next hour, not this hour, but the next hour.
We can maybe consider doing it early.
No, we can't because she's not here. So next hour, what? Oh, he's at the door. Okay.
So do you want to do a commercial break?
No. Yeah, we need to go to a commercial break, and I'll tell you later what we're going to do. So send it, take us out to commercial, Glenn. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Did you know that we have a radio show right here on WPHT every Saturday at 1 o'clock? It's called The Larry Steinhouse Show. And you want to listen to this show because it's a live show and you can call in. In fact, here's the call-in number.
855-939-1137.
And when you call in, you can ask us questions about real estate, the stock market, even politics. Make sure you tune in Saturday, 1 o'clock. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Did you know that there are so many different ways to prepare for retirement? All right, that's 2.5.
You about ready to come back?
Yeah, we come back, sure. Come learn this Thursday by taking a free class on Investor Schooling.
20
Come
seconds.
to Investor Schooling, and you will learn so many different ways that you can make more money in retirement than you actually expected to. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday. That's investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. We'll see you there.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the Larry Steinhouse Show. We're here. I'm here with Dr. Deb. I'm here with Omri. And I was going to tell you right before the commercial, the only reason we had to take the commercial is we had to let our guest in, who's going to be here in the next show, not this show, but in the next hour. So at 2 o'clock, we're going to be bringing in Daniel Harvey, who is actually a real estate investor. And he runs a group called Black Real Estate Investment Alliance Group. And no comments from the peanut gallery. And I just want to talk about, and I'm just going to briefly say that I was somewhat offended by the fact that it was called Black Real Estate Alliance Group, and that's all I want to say at this point. But we're going to bring him in later. I'm going to talk about it. But at the same time, Daniel's an awesome real estate investor, so we'll also talk about that as well. All right, so getting back to our current show, though. Let's do this. So, Deb, what do you got going on? You got a couple of houses you've been looking at, right?
I have a bunch of things going on. So I have been learning how to do land flipping. So I have this property out in Utah for like 26 acres or 28 acres or something that I have under contract for just over $200,000. And the realtor believes I can get between $350 and $380 for it. So it's under
that's
contract.
A cool deal.
That's a cool deal. If that goes through, I mean, it's under contract and everything's kind of set to go through. So now I'm in the process of waiting for the drone pics to come in, because I guess there was some bad weather in Utah over the last couple of days. So I'm hoping to get drone pics in this next week. And then I already have the ad ready to go. So then I'll post it and hopefully start getting that underway. So that'll be awesome. I've been looking at a couple deals in West Virginia and in Virginia. So I got some numbers back I don't like, but it's not under contract yet. So I don't know if I'm going to make an offer. We'll see what happens. And then I just put an offer in on a place in Delaware. So that should be going through. Like I just signed the contract to buy a property out in Delaware. So I have a bunch of things. Going on right now. I know.
I'm pretty impressed, Deb. You're like on the move there. There you go.
I keep saying this is my year because
yes, I know.
This is my year because, and my husband's just like, what do you do? And I'm like, if I keep going the same thing and not doing anything, then I'm not changing anything. So I need to spend a little bit of money and learn how to do something new and start just taking action, and things are moving, which is good.
Right. So here's the thing about investor schooling. We teach a lot of different things, and every once in a while we come across something we don't teach. So we don't teach land flipping. So right. we had one of our peers and friend Frank Guerin come in and talk about land flipping, and Frank Guerin impressed the audience so well that Debbie decided to become one of his mentees. Right. And it was awesome because Debbie has been learning land flipping, which obviously now she'll bring that experience to the school too, which is fabulous. And, so everybody kind of focuses on something else. I'm buying single family houses, although I want to move up into apartment buildings. Right. I'm buying single family houses and, 2 family houses, 3 families, a couple of commercial buildings, nothing big. Yeah. But I want to move into 25, 30, 100 unit apartment buildings, which will be my next move. But each one of us, as we start to learn, we bring that experience into the school. And it's kind of fun because now we're teaching you guys this as well. And you heard in the commercial, too, that we talked, the commercial just before, no toilets, no trash, no tenants. And a lot of people do. They come to us and like, look, I just don't want to be a landlord. Yeah. And we teach people how to invest in real estate without being a landlord. So there's so many different things that we can teach them and so many different ways to make money. It's funny. We have a lot of people, they come to this investor schooling and they have, couple of $100,000, couple of $1 million, whatever they have. And they're looking for a better place to put their money than my absolute favorite.
No, hold on.
So a lot of
he doesn't want me to say the word annuities.
Yeah, so a lot of people come and they learn how to become private investors, which is great because we have a whole board of people who are looking to lend money.
And they make so much more money than people who have their money in annuities.
Yeah, and it's great because then I'm like, hey, I need to borrow this amount. Who has that amount to lend? And then I start making a couple of phone calls and see what we can swing. So it's great because I have an investor who's going to give me. I also actually have a piece in where is that? North Carolina. I'm actually closing on that in the first week of April. So that land I'm buying for $50,000 and it should bring around $80,000. So that's already under contract and that should be closing the next little bit. So that I'm using a private lender to buy that initial $50,000 and then I'll flip it and get hopefully $80,000. So after all expenses, I'll probably only make like 10. But hey, that's still $10,000. So
yeah, it's funny.
Exactly. Without doing
anything.
I know.
It's like she says, I'll only make like 10. How many people listening right now would like to make $10,000 for? I mean, what did you do? You answered a phone call. Yeah. You got the thing under contract, and you basically had a conversation. Hey, this much I'll offer you. You emailed the contract. They emailed the contract back, and then you list it with a real estate agent, and the real estate agent does all the work. Yeah, and you make all the money. Yeah, and for that you got $10,000. I mean, what could that be? An hour's worth of work? Yeah, it's not that much when you're looking at it that way. Yeah, and what's nice is that for this particular real estate agent, we're giving him 10%, so he's going to get a nice commission. It gives him a nice incentive to keep working with us, which is nice. Yeah. So this is what we teach. These are some of the things we teach, and these are the ways you can make money in real estate. It doesn't have to always be, and there's no toilets, trash, and tenants right there. Right. Well, you just buy a piece of land, or you get a piece of land under contract. You don't even have to sell it. I'm sorry, you have to sell it, but you don't have to close on it. Yeah, you don't have to close on it until you're ready. You can actually hold on to it, which is what we were doing with wholesaling when we teach people how to do that with houses. You get a house under contract for $350,000, you sell it to somebody else for $400,000, and you make the $50,000 spread. Right. So that one in Utah, that 28 acres. So I'm buying it for $203,000, and I should sell for, like I said, $350,000 probably minimum. But I don't have to sell it. I have it under contract until August. But I plan on selling it sooner. But it should be a nice, like I said, once I get the drone pics, and then I already have a realtor in place. I'm not sure if I'll be able to use that realtor, but either way, I'll get the drone pics in place. I already have the ad ready. So as soon as I get the drone pics, it'll be up on the market to start selling it to get rid of it. So I'm really, that would be a nice 6-figure flip. That would be fantastic. That would awesome. Those are the ones that we that we always dream about.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Those
it'll
are
be
great.
really nice.
I mean, if you
really
make
nice.
10 to 20,000 on a wholesale deal, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
When you make $100,000 on a wholesale deal, the highest I ever made was 80, and it was a nice deal.
Yeah.
Look
Highest
for
percentage I ever made was 250.
Okay. So it makes me want to think though that I was reading a couple posts and some other people I know who are doing this, and it kind of almost makes me want to specialize in the higher end flips as opposed to the smaller end flips.
Yes. So higher end flips are good, but my
they're
concern is always the same.
riskier.
Well,
Yeah.
they're riskier, right?
Yeah, they're
Because if
riskier.
you buy a house for $750,000 that you expect to sell for $1.1 million, and you got to put $200,000 into it, you're getting close to that $1.1 million.
No. It's not the point. The point is to hold them.
Right.
It costs a lot of money
Exactly.
too.
Right.
So even if you can get the money, you will have more surprises.
Yep.
You will have more money every month through the taxes, the maintenance, everything, right? Normally there's a huge loan that someone need to cut.
Right, but I'm not talking about houses here. We're talking about land.
Yeah.
Land, which is nice.
Which
right.
land. So and
And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to
I don't
fix
have
it. You don't have to do anything.
yeah,
You
so it
buy
just
and
makes
sell
me
it.
it just makes me think that maybe I want to start looking at waterfront properties a little bit more and start maybe
Mm-hmm.
targeting my marketing a little bit more to those kinds of areas. So it's just making me think a little bit. But the other thing that had come up as I was looking at that plan, that there's two lots that I was looking at. One was in West Virginia and one was in Virginia, and they're, I don't know, maybe 20 miles away from each other. They're not far from the border. It's owned by the same guy. But I was talking to Frank and I said, the guy wants this much and it's overpriced. But I was thinking, I'm like, maybe, and I have reservations about it. I'm back and forth on it, but they're full of timber. They're full of trees and stuff that maybe I can get some money by having a timber company come in and clear the lot, and then sell it so that it would be, I could make money off it.
So you're basically you're going to sell the trees.
Sell the trees
The wood,
and then
right.
sell the
That's
wood,
interesting.
and then maybe go back and then sell the land so that I can get money off it twice. You know what I mean? And both of these are covered in trees.
I would love to hear that story.
Yeah, so
That'd be awesome.
They're each 5 acres, and when I was talking to Frank about it, he's like, timbering companies want at least 10 acres, and I'm like, well, if I get both of these lots a little bit cheaper, and then I have two 5-acre lots where they could timber,
Not too far from each other.
and then sell the cleared
Maybe.
land, that I'd be able to make more money off it
Yeah.
that way. So
What did they pay for that? Like 10 acres of timber?
I'm not sure. I was asking to see if it was even an option, and his response to me is like, well, that's creative thinking.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
creative
that's what he
thinking.
said. I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
that's creative thinking. I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
I don't know. I just thought that might be something to think about.
All right. Give us the phone number again.
That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137.
Yeah, and you want to write that phone number down? Because
I can.
even if you're not going to call now, you want to call the next hour because it's
You
going to be
should.
a controversial show in the next hour. And
So-
I'm looking forward to it.
You see what I'm seeing in the real estate market right
Yes,
now
I wanted to bring that up too. Yes.
around us?
Yes. What's going on?
So every day we used to see, in our area at least, in Bucks County, we used to see a property here, a property there. Every day right now we have 5-6 properties being added to the market in the area that I'm looking for. And it's insane. The market is still hot.
Yeah, and the only reason the market's hot is because of the inventory.
The
Lack of inventory, that is.
But the inventory
And it's
is
going to stop.
here.
It's going to change.
I'm not even say it's coming. The inventory is here.
Right,
And
but
the
it's still
price
not where it
cuts.
was.
Exactly. I think there's still not enough. But the inventory is here, and we see it coming, and we see the price cuts.
Okay,
And
so
we
that was my
see-
question, because I'm not sure. But based on the conversation you guys are having, are you saying that the market's still expensive, or you're saying it's coming down
In your
in price?
community right now,
Yeah.
Going to come down.
in your
That's what I'm
community
saying.
right now, there are
Yeah.
4 houses for sale.
Okay.
In your community, 4 houses for sale.
Okay. What are they going for? I don't even know.
Anywhere
600.
between 6 to 7.
6 and 7.
Depend on the house, pool, no pool, whatever. But yeah, that's the thing. I am amazed to see what's going on. How well the market is awake right now.
Yeah, I know that if I sold my house now, I can easily get 6 for it.
You can
Not that I'm moving, but I'm just saying I know that, and I didn't pay anywhere near that much.
No, I understand.
Yeah, because I wouldn't afford I wouldn't.
I understand, but we see more and more people that are selling right now.
Yeah.
We see that the market for sure is awake. I talked to a real estate agent,
Yeah.
and he told me the same thing. he told me that all those letters and all those calendars that he's sending, he's paying back right now. And people are calling and they want to meet him and they want to see how much they can get for their property.
Yeah, but I don't think they're realizing that once they move out of their property, they're going to have to spend a lot of money to move into another one.
It's true, but
that's part of the problem is people have properties now, right, where they paid, let's say they paid $300,000 for their property and they're paying a mortgage based on that. They're paying whatever, $2,500. And if they were to buy their own house, just the house they're living in now, it would cost them $4,500 to $5,000.
So why are they moving?
They can't even afford to buy their own house.
Why are they moving?
Well, people have to move all the time for various reasons. I mean, people get old. People want to downsize.
Yeah.
People get divorced. People
have
get a job somewhere else. Right.
Yeah.
So these are reasons. These are the reasons people move all the time. But then if you got somebody who just says, "Hey, I just want to get a new house," those people, most of them can't afford the new house because the amount of money that they're spending on the house that they have now, they'd have to spend double or triple that. I mean, even like the house you looked at yesterday.
Yeah.
So Omri was looking at a house, and it was a really nice house. And it's funny because I look at this, and I pay peanuts a month now because I owe very little money on my property. I only have a HELOC on it. That's all I have. So I pay peanuts on it. But if I was to sell my house, I would get probably a little bit less than that house. I'd have to pay back the HELOC, so I'd probably have to get, probably like a $200,000 or $300,000 mortgage maximum to buy that house that you looked at yesterday, which is affordable to me.
Yeah.
But to a lot of people, it's not. Most people don't have their house paid off like I do. Most people don't have, most people.
I don't agree with you, sir.
That they don't have their house paid off?
I think that what's going on right now is people that have their house paid off. We see a lot of estate sales. Around us right now that people don't want to leave. They don't want to leave the trash, their parents' trash, before putting it to the market. They just want to get rid of it. They want to be done. I saw few of those. That I'm not saying paint even.
Yeah, but estate sales are not houses. Estate sales not the same.
No, it's not. It's a regular
estate
sale.
sale is different. Somebody died or went into a
somebody
nursing
died.
home,
It's not the same thing as paid off
And now the family
their
wants
house.
to get rid of the house.
That's
why
not
I
the
bought
same
that house.
thing.
The house in Florida. When I bought that house just now in Ruskin, that was worth about $280. I paid $225 for it, and it was a great house. It's a three bed. You saw it, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. I paid $225 for it. I believe I can rent this thing for right around $2,400, which is fine. And because of that, the guy needed to move. His family wanted him to move. The guy's an older guy. I think he had some mental deficiency, but I'm not sure. It seemed like it, right, when you met him. Mm-hmm. And they probably wanted to. They knew he was getting older, and they didn't want to. They wanted to make sure he was in a more comfortable place. So that's why he sold, and that's why he sold it cheap because the family wanted him to go fast. They wanted the house to go fast, so they put it at a low price. I went at full price, which surprised me that I got it. That they wasn't a bidding war because it was so low.
So we are at the same point, but I think that we don't see those prices yet, but we are there. We see houses more time on the market, and we see that the market is moving, which is great, because to see a house in our area, for example, one house came every week. Was something ridiculous. Every week, one house came to the market.
So you're seeing more houses coming on the market now, right?
All the time.
Right.
So all the time. That's for weeks.
First of all, you do understand that it is spring, right?
It is, I know.
So in spring, houses, people wait. The anticipation, they're like, if I sell my house in January, I'm going to get less money for it, which isn't true, by the way. Especially in this market, if you sold your house in January, you'll get more money for it because there's less houses on the market in January.
Correct.
So it's kind of the opposite right now.
Mm-hmm.
The better time to sell your house is in January or December, which is just weird. Whether that'll be this coming December, this January, I'll be able to tell by the spring market.
Yeah, but there's also other factors that you got to think about too. Like if you have a family, you don't want to move kids in the middle of school.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's colder to move. Like there's all those just like logistics of moving in the middle of a bad time.
Agreed, absolutely.
Because the house I live in now, we moved in June because I wanted the kids to be out of school. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to deal with having to shuffle. You know what I mean? Like you as a parent, you're thinking about that because it's easier to move in the spring or the summer than it is. In the fall or winter, because it's just, and then, like I said, then it's cold, and it's just easier to move it when it's warm out.
I'm just saying, it seems like the market is waking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I want to let people know, because a lot of people are asking me online right now where Daniel is. Daniel will be here after 2:00. So right around 2:05 is when Daniel's going to be here. If you've been following me on Facebook, you've been seeing that that I was a little concerned that calling a investment group Black Real Estate Investment Alliance Group is racist. But we're going to have that conversation, and Daniel's going to put me at ease, I hope. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you that this guy, he's a really good real estate investor, so you're going to learn a lot from him all around. So I'm looking forward to seeing that at 2:00. So if you guys are listening, please hang in there and know that this is going to be a great topic to talk about. And you can call in, and you could either you can either agree or disagree.
We want your opinion.
We want opinions. And what's the phone number?
That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137.
So he'll be here at the next hour. And for you guys who don't know, we end the show and we start it again. So don't think that we lied to you.
No, we are here.
Oh, there was that other question that we were talking about for the that other hour. Remember we were talking about that before the pre-show? We were saying that we should ask the audience what they think.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
Me too. What was
about the other hour that you were thinking about adding on?
Oh, yeah. Let's do that real quick.
Okay.
All right. So
Glenn's like, what are you doing?
Really, Glenn's like, oh man, he almost didn't do it. All right. So there's another radio station in Philadelphia that I wanted to simulcast this show on, and PhD has a problem with that, and they, basically saying contractually I'm not allowed to do that. And I'm not going to get into the whole fight I had with PhD about this because it's not necessary. What's more important is that we want to know what you guys think. We only got 5 minutes, but we want to know what you guys think about. Maybe you can call in and ask and tell us what you think about us doing another hour on another radio station right after this show ends.
Right.
Would you guys listen? Would you guys change the station? Do you think it's a good idea for us? What do you think? And the phone number is
855-939-1137. 855-939-1137.
And then the other thing, too, is that if you can't call in, we could always do a quick poll on, like, Facebook or YouTube or whatever and just do, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Or, if, or if you don't have time, you could always ask Glenn and say, I would, I wouldn't, whatever. So I'm just saying so that you can get more people.
Yeah, well, we're just curious to see, because we're debating whether we should do it or not. Like, I actually haven't asked these guys yet.
Yeah, which is also interesting because I didn't find out about this. So last week we were at a dinner and then Larry says, "Oh, we're doing this," and we're like, "We are? I have no idea." He's like, "Oh yeah, I got to talk to you and Omri about it."
So we're not doing it unless you guys want. First of all, if you guys don't want to do it,
figure it out.
Right? If you guys aren't going to do it, then we would just be here for another hour. Is really the difference.
Yeah.
The show would start there at 3:00 when this show ends. We would start there immediately. We go right into it because we don't have a lot of time to go into it any other way, right? We go right into it. Maybe 5 minutes on the hour because we just need enough time to switch over the station. So we do this.
I have a question, Larry.
Yeah, sure.
I have a question.
Sure.
So with this potential additional hour, would it be the same material in a slightly different vein, or would it be a concerted effort to do like a sparkling new hour of not heard yet?
Well, so we just talk. If you haven't already noticed that, Glenn, we just talk, right? So
Glenn's like, I don't want to get into
this. So basically, what would happen is we would just continue to just talk,
rumble.
So it would
ramble.
Simple as that. It wouldn't be like we would be able to rehash some of the stuff from the last 2 hours because it's a different station. So that would be nice to be able to rehash because sometimes, for you guys who don't know radio. This isn't a podcast, right? A podcast, you can edit the podcast, you can do things over, you can say, hey, you know what, this is a terrible one, let's do it again.
Correct.
We're live. We don't have a choice. We either made it great or we screwed up, right? Mm-hmm. And, sometimes we say things that, that we wish we didn't say, like Omri especially. And sometimes we do things we wish we didn't do, but we're live. We have no other choice. But the other point is, after a while, you're like, all right, we talked about everything there is to talk about. What else do you want to talk about today?
Yeah.
Right. So we went into Tesla, which I wanted to talk about.
I have an update if you want about my case in court.
We
had.
All right. I don't know if we have time
I don't think we do.
Yeah, because we only have about 3 more minutes. But we might be able to bring it up in the next hour.
Maybe.
I mean, it depends on how controversial the next hour gets. And next hour, listen, I'm telling you right now, if you guys are listening, you guys definitely want to just turn your radio up. If you're in your car and you came to your destination, park your car and sit in your car and listen to this conversation, because it's going to be controversial. Now, understand, it's not going to be a drag-down, knockout fight. It's just going to be controversial.
Ding, ding, ding,
and
ding.
at the same time, I promise you're going to learn something really cool, because if nothing else, Daniel Harvey is a brilliant real estate investor.
Mm-hmm.
So I promise you that will be something that will be worth just listening to.
And yet, we want to ask him why he chose this name.
Why what?
Why he chose this name.
Okay,
Stop.
stop.
I don't want to get into that yet.
No, you didn't
get to that.
because
Omri.
you didn't say anything yet, right?
All
You
right.
didn't say anything.
All I'm doing is I'm building anticipation.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness!
I don't want to have the conversation yet.
All right, so Mark.
By the way,
says,
this was so hard for us to do this
Mark
all
says,
week.
stop. Mark says that he would listen to us, so that's cool. So if anybody else says that they would be listening to us for another hour, just let us know, because we're curious. And like I said, Larry kind of sprung it on me last week in front of a bunch of other people, and I had no idea about it. And, and I think Omri's, this is probably the first time he's even hearing about it. So
No, I knew that this is on the table. We will discuss that.
Yeah.
We'll figure out if it's
Yeah, I mean, if you
something
guys want to
we
do it,
should
I'm open to it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think it'll certainly increase our audience, and it'll increase revenue into investor schooling, and more importantly, increase the students.
Are we talking
And
about
if we have
after?
more students, we have more fun.
We talk about after 3 o'clock.
So we would start at 3:05,
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
right?
Yeah.
Because we need enough time to do radio checks and make sure mic checks and make sure everything works.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, we'll talk about it. But if the audience would, I'm just curious to see what the audience thinks.
I know our spouses
and I'm
would
being
love it.
I'm being really, it's funny. I'm purposely being respectful to PHT right now,
Yeah.
which they don't deserve me being respectful to them, but I am being
Stop.
respectful to them.
All right.
Because after the argument I had with them over this, because we wanted to simulcast it.
So the sitting after the show will not be lunch anymore. It will be dinner now.
It'll be dinner.
It'll
by
be
that
dinner,
point.
right?
Dinner.
It'll be
Okay,
by
it
that
will be
point,
dinner.
Right, so yeah,
Good.
it's funny if you guys ever want to meet us, we always go out for not always, we go out
Almost
for a drink right
always.
after the show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of often that we do that. All right. So for you guys who are going to be staying on, please continue to listen, because it's going to be a great show with Daniel Harvey, Black Real Estate Investment Alliance Group, and why I was offended by that, and we'll talk about that in the next hour.
Please.
And now, also, if you want to go to Investor Schooling, you can take a free class in Investor Schooling.
.com.
Could I finish what I was going to say?
Yes. But there are org.
Welcome
there
to the
are,
I
Larry
have 25
Steinhouse show.
seconds to end the show now, because
There
you're
are many
interrupting me again.
ends.
I want to thank Dr. Deb and, of course, Omri the Interrupter for interrupting me in the show and being here today. And if you want to take a free class, go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and you can take a complimentary class, and you can visit Omri, and you can have him read you the phone number.
Oh.
So come this Thursday night to investorschooling.com. We will see you there.
This program is paid for by Investor
You are
Schooling.
clear.
All right,
opinions
cool.
or
All right,
statements
let's
expressed
get-
on the
bring
program
Daniel.
are solely those of
Bring
Investor
Daniel.
Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
You're so. And would you move the food out of his way?
No!
No, get out of here.
It's for him. What? You know that for many years.
Have a seat, man.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
Hello,
Statements expressed on the
sir.
program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
You're so. And would you move the food out of his way?
No!
No, get out of here.
What is for him? What? You know that for many years.
What was that? Have a seat, man.
It's us. Hello, sir.
What is that?
What is that, Glenn? What's going on?
What are you hearing?
We're hearing like.
30 seconds ago.
That's because he's got the mic open.
What is
He's got the
that?
mic open. That's why.
What? Again?
Yeah, that's right.
What's going on? Is there a problem?
It's us. Hello, sir.
What is that?
What is that, Glenn? What's going on?
What are you hearing?
We're hearing like. Okay, there we go. Glenn, I had to mute you, so give me a couple of seconds to come back.
Password.
And the password is make money, both M's capital, no space.
So all capital?
Yeah, no, both M's capital,
Okay.
no space. Make money, both M's capital, no space. That's what that was. That's why, because he's got the audio coming back in. Or do I have Facebook running? Wait.
What were you hearing?
So I was hearing a repeat, like as we talked. 30. We had a delay, and we could hear ourselves again.
That's weird.
It was weird, but I'm wondering if it's because I have Facebook open. He's got the audio.
I think. I'm not
I
sure.
don't think so. No, that's not why. I'm not running anything on Facebook. So I was hearing a repeat, like as we talked. Do you hear that? 30. We had a delay, and we could hear ourselves again. Do you hear that?
How about now?
1, 2, 3. I don't know. I don't
hear
anything
it.
now.
No.
I don't hear it.
We used to hear.
Did it just go away?
I don't know because we weren't talking for a while.
We will know in 20 seconds.
We'll know until 30 seconds, right?
All right, you ready to go?
No, hold on. Run another commercial. Run one of our commercials if you have to.
If I share it,
Yeah.
then, but it won't. I won't be on the camera then.
No, you will be on the camera. Yeah, you will be on the camera. Absolutely. In fact, you just reminded me. I got to fix that. Hold on.
So I don't really need that. I don't really need to
Okay.
use
All right.
this.
Put the headphones on, and we need to do a radio check real quick. Put the microphone right in front of you, within a fist length from you. You can bring it to you. It's so you can make yourself real comfortable.
Gotcha.
All right. Do a check 1 second.
Check.
What do you think, Glenn?
Should be okay.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
All right. You can start us whenever you want. So let me know.
I'm going to do one more 30-second of yours so you have a breather.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
I lied. I didn't have time to cue it up.
Okay.
So
All right,
let's
so
start.
here's-
We have no audio though, so make sure we have audio.
There you go. Are you still hearing that weird delay thing?
From the Piazza Auto Group Studios,
Okay, good.
experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The Larry Steinhouse Show.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Larry Steinhouse Show. We are here broadcasting from Investor Schooling headquarters right here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I am Larry Steinhouse, and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling, and I'm here to make financial education fun and accessible to everyone,
Especially
including
me.
even Omri,
Yeah.
but especially you listening. On this show, we discuss several ways of making more money. We concentrate on real estate investing, stock options trading, the stock market, and how to maximize your retirement funds. You can call us anytime during the show at
855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. Are you done?
Yeah. It's
Okay,
funny. It was
we
funny.
good?
I was pushing all the buttons and I forgot the most important button because you were so hot in the you were so hot in talking.
I'm always hot.
I know that I got so distracted by your lovely
Lovely voice.
voice,
Lovely
right?
voice,
Exactly, your
lovely
sexy
voice.
voice.
Appreciate
All right.
that.
We're also live here on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Please leave us a comment and say hello so we know you're listening. I'm also here with my awesome co-host, Dr. Deb Anderson, and Omri Morad, also known as The Immigrant. We have our sweet producer,
Sweet!
Glenn Page,
I love you, Glenn.
ready to take your
I
phone
love
call.
you, Glenn. I'm sorry you had to deal with all that. I love you, Glenn.
And we're expecting a lot of phone calls during this segment. I'll explain that why in a minute. So make sure you break down the phone number once again.
That's 855-939-1137. Now in English. 855-939-1137. That's
All right.
855
He's not holding the mic like he did last week. Last show.
1137.
All right, the Larry Steinhouse Show is brought to you by Investor Schooling. At Investor Schooling, we teach you things about money I'll bet you never knew. We focus on practical learning, and we will equip you with real-world skills in real estate investing, stock options, tax-saving tips, and the secret of financial freedom. Our headquarters are right here in Bucks County, but our online courses teach eager investors all over the country. You can RSVP for a free class this Thursday night at, you want to say it, Omri?
You want me to say the what? The website?
The website.
The website is investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. Investor.
So we have a special guest today, and I want to bring this up. It's really important. We have a special guest and a friend. So I want everybody to understand the first thing, especially for the controversy that I caused on Facebook. Dan and I are friends. So number one, we're friends. So it's very important that everybody understands that. So Dan and I are friends, and I respect Dan a lot because Dan is an incredible real estate investor, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But Dan runs something called you do run it, right?
I do.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so I just want to make sure.
My organization.
I want to make sure I have the right person, right?
I see it on the shirt.
It's on the shirt. Yeah.
I came ready.
So exactly. You didn't bring me a shirt. You're supposed to bring me a shirt. So it's the Black Real Estate Investor Alliance Group.
Just Alliance Group. Black Real Estate Alliance Group.
It's Black Real Estate Alliance Group. Okay. Okay, and it's BRAG, and I think BRAG is a really cool acronym. Mm-hmm. But here's my problem. Mm-hmm. All right, and this is what happened. So, I've known you for a while, and and I follow you. You follow me, and every once in a while, it's probably like about a year that you've been doing this now.
No, I've run BRAG for 5 years.
Oh, have you really? Okay,
yes.
So I've only noticed it in the last year, I guess. So,
and we'll get into that.
What?
and we'll get into that. Why you're just seeing it now?
Yeah, well, it's just marketing. That's all. It doesn't mean anything. It's just marketing.
No,
right?
it's actually deeper, but we'll get into it.
Okay, well, okay, good. Well, good. Okay, so there's actually a story behind it. That's great. Yes. Okay, so I'm noticing it for the last few months, and and every time I look at it, I'm like, I'm just uncomfortable with this.
Why it's needed?
Because it says it specifically says Black Real Estate. It's Black Real Estate Alliance Group, right?
That's correct.
And it specifically says the word black in the very first word, right? Now look, you guys know that as far as prejudice and racism go, if anybody calls me a racist, I get really upset because I'm the furthest thing from a racist, and it pisses me off. Okay, but when I see that, right, I say, like, how come we could have a black group called a Black Real Estate Group? We can't take a white group and call it a white real estate group. But we're going to get into that in a second. However, here's what really went through my head, and it really bothered me because I felt like I was excluded. I'm also, I'm a real estate influencer, which is obvious, right? I have a radio show, and I felt like I was excluded. Now, you're going to tell me that everybody's included, which I get. But the name itself got to me.
I didn't get that everybody's included.
I didn't get that either from the name.
I didn't get it.
Because if I was to show up, I don't feel as though I'd be welcome.
You ruin it for me.
I agree.
You ruin it for me right now.
Right. I don't feel like I would be welcome either. And that was the weirdest thing about it, right? I mean, my friend runs this group, right? And I feel like I'm not welcome because I'm a different color. And look, we could go into the history of, I don't know what we're going to go into at the moment, but I will tell you that it's really weird to feel that way.
Is he right?
Is he right about what?
Can everybody come?
Well, let's get into a little bit of the story, and then we can get into all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And real quick, if anybody wants to call on this, we really would love your opinion.
Yes.
So give the phone number again.
That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, great. Well, thanks for having me, Larry. I really appreciate it. So the first thing I want to talk about, and I spoke to you about this privately, is I'm not here to convince you or anyone of the reason for BRAG. But I do feel like there's a great conversation to be had around race and real estate, especially when it comes to the investing and the education side of things. And I think it would help your audience to understand how we got here if they understood my path in real estate. And I'll try to make it as brief as possible to make it make sense, if that's all right.
Yeah, please do.
All right, great. So I've been investing for 20 plus years. All right. So you're talking about 2005 or so is when I bought my first place. I used to work for SEPTA, so that's what I did, and that was my day job. Was dabbling around in real estate. I decided to get serious in real estate about 2010. And by serious, I decided that by the time I was 35, that I would retire from SEPTA, and I would have enough real estate that I could do that.
To do flips or hold?
Mostly I was holding.
Holding. Okay.
Yeah, I did flips previously, and then I went into all holds during that time frame where I decided I was going to become serious and I was going to leave SEPTA because I would need that income coming in. And so as part of that process, I said, well, you know what? I really need to get some education, right? I really need, I've been buying real estate, but I've just been doing what I felt made sense. And so I really started to seek out groups and events that taught about real estate, right?
Okay.
And conferences and so forth and so on. And so I started doing it. So we're talking roughly 2010. All right. So 2010, going to these events. Most of the events were held in the suburbs. And in fact, most of them still are, actually. And when I would go to these events, they were 99% white. I mean, in many cases, I was the only black guy.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. I did an inventory of our class the other day. I just did it just for the show. There was one woman and no one black. Now, that just happened to be this Thursday because we do have women, we do have black people who come to it all the time. But I just had to say it because I was like, and I literally looked around the room and shook my head.
It just came up to me what Debbie say before she introduced the women's lunch. That this is a very male-dominated field.
Right. So Debbie does a women's lunch for students and non-students. She does it once a month. Actually, it rotates lunch and dinner, and for that exact reason. But go ahead. I just want to bring it up because I so far I agree with everything you say.
Okay, and I want to be clear about something. It was mostly all white, but I didn't feel like people didn't want me there. I got a ton of information. I've built really good relationships with folks, but I have a certain mindset, and my mindset is I'm going to go after the information, after what I want, no matter what. Even if I felt like they didn't want me there, personally, I don't care. I'm going to get that information. I'm going to go after it. I have that sort of personality. But I also saw the benefits of being in those rooms. You get to meet people. You get to get deals. You get to meet private lenders. But I also know that there are, because I'm an investor and I'm black, there's a ton of black investors, right?
Of course.
So it's like, well, where are all of these black investors getting this same where they get to network, where they get to build these relationships? Well, where is that happening at, right? And so one thing or the other has to be true. And this is the way that I looked at it. I never felt like at any of these groups, and I want to be very clear about that, like I could not be there. You didn't belong,
right? You belonged there.
I felt welcome, just fine, and I've done business. So either I would have to believe they don't want black people there, and that's not my experience, or they're just indifferent. It's just like, well, there's no black people here, but okay, that's not an issue for us, and I'm not saying it should be.
So you think other black people assume that they are less welcome in those groups because they are white dominant?
So
do you think that?
Let me be clear too, and I want to say this. I want to be very clear about this. I'm not here to speak for black people.
Okay.
I'm here to speak for myself because I cannot tell you what goes through other people's mind.
Yeah.
All I can do is tell you what I see, and sort of figure some things out, right?
Okay.
And I wanted to bring this up because this is a good point, and this is something that I think that might resonate with some of the folks here. It's my opinion, generally speaking. If you're a middle to upper middle class white person, you get the choice to basically live your life without any meaningful interactions with black people. Meaning, you could live in the suburbs and you have
no idea how enraged I get with a statement like that.
Yeah, I have to say that I don't agree with that either.
I didn't finish the sentence yet.
Yeah.
I did not finish the thought yet. Schools, churches, synagogues, whatever it is, mostly white. You could, if you decide that you want to be in those environments, you can be. How many environments are you in that are generally 99% black and you're the only white person there?
So here's the interesting answer.
No. But that particular question,
but
just to be clear.
I don't know and I don't care. I think that's the difference. I don't care.
Hold on. But that's
90% black, I don't care.
But that's dismissive because what that does is say
it's important.
It is important, but it's important that you're being dismissive because what that says is I don't put myself in those positions. But I don't mind. I don't care how you might feel when you're in those positions, especially if you don't ever have to do that.
There are two things here. One is to make it more comfortable for black people that maybe feel that they are discriminated because of those color in those groups. So to create an environment for them that they will feel more welcome. But I think you in the group, there is also we also need to express that it's not true, and they should be in those groups, and they should do business with other groups. They shouldn't feel that they need to be in this group. They are discriminating from outside, and they should do everything in this group. You ask when I'm in an environment that I am the minority, almost every day, because of the type of real estate investing that I'm doing, almost every day.
Right, because you're in neighborhoods that are predominantly
Yes,
black
and I'm
brown.
fine with that.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're
I
kinda
don't
missing,
feel that somebody is going to shoot me every second. No, it's fine.
Well, I mean, that's a couple of interesting comments.
It was an interesting comment, wasn't it?
That's it.
Racist comment, right?
I made it specifically so you would understand that.
But hear what I'm saying. So we have to think about this in a logical way, because you guys are talking a lot about your feelings, and I'm not talking about feelings. What I'm saying is, I've been in those groups, right? And there are not a lot of black people there.
You're right.
The question is, why? Why
I
is that?
want to know the answer to that question too.
Why is that? Okay, so if you can't answer that question, and I'm telling you, I don't think from my personal experience that we don't want black people here, because I've gone there and I've had built great relationships. But there's not. I also don't think they're like, well, we need more black people in the group, which I'm telling you, I think is fine. I don't personally have an issue with that. What I'm saying is, I see where there is an advantage to being a part of a group. And if the established groups are not interested, as to what you were saying, in creating some sort of environment, which I don't personally think is their responsibility.
So I agree. It's not their responsibility, but it's not somebody's responsibility to create an environment. You said yourself that you wanted to learn more about real estate investing, so you went into whatever room it was to be able to learn how to do that. So it doesn't matter what race or color you are. Right. You want to learn how to do this, you get off your ass and you go and you do it, period. Doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're white, doesn't matter if you're a woman. So, I guess was a little frustrated with your comment, because I grew up very poor. And my parents were also immigrants. I was the only one here in the U.S. And it's, my environment was very mixed. So I don't care about color. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter to me. But if I wanted to live the life that my parents had set, I would be working a 9-to-5 job, and I'd be there for the rest of my life. I was the one who had to decide that I wanted to get off my ass and not live the way they did, and live paycheck to paycheck and struggle for their lives. It had nothing to do with race or color or creed. It had everything to do with me wanting to not live my life the way my parents lived their lives.
Yeah, and I agree. Let's go over a couple of things. And I think when I say like have a good faith conversation, you have to try to kind of step outside of yourself. This is not about you individually. What I'm talking is, I'm speaking generally. Okay. So if we go back to just what we see, if we have these groups that are good groups, but there's little to no black people there. Should we say we're just going to that demographic should not be served, right?
But
who's saying that? Nobody's saying that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm asking a question.
Right.
I'm just asking a question. Should they not be served, or really that's really it, because these are great groups, but for some reason. And I'm not saying that this is a problem you have to solve. Quite frankly, I said I don't want anybody to solve. I can solve this.
No, it's a conversation.
No, yeah, right? But the way I looked at it,
I felt uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I saw this, and I want to reach out. I reach out to groups. I'm like, hey, can I help? Mm-hmm. Can I help? And I'm like, I couldn't reach out to your group and say, can I help, because of the color of my skin. That was what held me back from reaching out to you and say, can I help?
No.
Now, this all started the other day, because what happened was I saw it one more time, and you ever have like that moment where you're like, all right, I can't take it anymore, and you do something.
Yeah.
So I sent him a private message. I said, don't you think this group is racist? Mm-hmm. And of course, he immediately responded, of course he doesn't feel that way. And he said, let's have a conversation about it. And then I said, hey, let's have a conversation about it on the radio. Mm-hmm. And then, then what I did was I built it up all week, okay? And again, I started out with the whole conversation that Dan and I are friends.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still felt uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So far, I feel more uncomfortable now going into this group than I would have. And again, I may not even be invited. Mm-hmm. The other people in the group maybe say, Larry Steinhouse is now banned because he opened his freaking mouth. Mm-hmm. And that's okay, too.
No.
But the fact is that I don't feel comfortable still because of what you're saying. It actually sounds exactly what I said it was.
Well, you didn't let me finish, so
okay, that's fine. You've been talking for 20 minutes, and
well, you guys are asking questions as I'm going along.
Okay.
So
you're right.
I'm trying to get to the punchline. So what I saw was a need. I obviously see that there are black investors out there, obviously, but there does not seem to be a community that is embracing them, that is creating the atmosphere that I learned at all these other groups, and I still go to these groups where people are learning and they share information, quite very much like the school that you have, where they share deals. So I'm like, you know what? If these other groups are not actively looking to bring in black investors, and I'm not.
How?
Hold on one.
No, we're saying it's not actively.
They're not
reaching out and saying, hey, if you're black, come to investor school.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
That's what you think you should do.
No,
Exactly.
I'm not saying that. That's why I created the group. I'm specifically saying I don't think it's my place to try to impose upon another group and say, hey, you have to try to go ahead and woo us in, right? I have the resources, I have the connections, and quite frankly, we have non-black speakers all the time. And I believe what you're doing, and this is just my opinion, you're leading, number one, with your feelings, which it has nothing to do with me. Okay. But it's also, you are making a lot of assumptions and not being curious at all. Say, hey, Dan, I'm just curious. I see you have this group. If you go into our webpage, it tells you there clearly it's open to everybody.
Right.
But it is specifically built to attract black people, because those are the folks that I saw were not being served by the groups at large.
You know what I'm saying? I'm really happy that you did that, but I'm not so happy with the name. That's it. It's just the name that gets to me, because you say, and it's funny. It's so funny because you say
he needs the name,
and we have white people come and talk. It sounds. I mean, if we would have reversed this conversation, just reverse the conversation. Mm-hmm. We have RAG, White Real Estate Alliance Group, and occasionally we have black people talk too. It sounds so racist.
Well, no.
But if you turn it the other way, apparently it's not.
No, but we got to be clear about words here, because using the word racist, which is untrue. So I just by definition,
okay,
it would be discrimination, which is different than racism.
Thank you. Okay,
right? Because we throw words out there, but we need to be very clear.
Much better.
It wouldn't be that at all. The question would be, you would be perfectly within your right to create a White Real Estate Alliance Group. But listen, right. What purpose would it serve if you already have groups that are already 90% white? What purpose, what need would you be serving by starting a White Real Estate Alliance Group?
That's my point. That's why you did it. You did it like you said, that you went to all those conventions and you didn't see that they approach the black people. Mm-hmm. So you said, I will create a group that will approach the black people, and now I understand why you chose this name.
Yes.
Now I understand why you chose this name. My question to you is, are you telling people in the meetups you are welcome in every other convention, real estate, investing, meetup, everything around this nation?
Wait.
You are welcome.
I'm a little confused.
Yeah, wait. The question is he telling the people who attend his group that they're
that
welcome?
they are also welcome in every other group?
It's an interesting question.
We actually do more than that. We actually work with other groups.
Awesome, because
that this isn't.
This is to empower the
Yes.
people, if this is to empower black people, say you can do it, I get you more.
Yes, that's what it's for. And again, and not only that, we have reached out to other groups. We've reached out to like Asian groups. Say, hey, you guys kind of have this, group that's for it. This is a great opportunity, and let's collaboration, bring people in and have this event. And I think just one other thing that we need to be very, very kind of clear about, because what it seems like to me is just because you are focusing on one group does not mean you dislike another. And that's an internal audit. I can't tell you why you might feel that way or somebody else might feel that way. But same way if you had a woman's group, it doesn't mean you hate men. Right?
So there was a women's group.
That's why I referred to.
So hold on. There was a women's group, also in Philadelphia, and they were doing a presentation, and I reached out because I knew the person who ran the group. I said, "Hey, do you need any speakers?" And she flat out shut me out and said, "No, you're not a woman."
Okay.
And that was also insulting.
Oh, but that was her.
I'm not. I'm saying it's not. Dan, you're my friend. This is not a personal thing.
No, it's not. I'm just saying that was
the discrimination that's being created because of what used to be discrimination, and I know there's still a little bit of going on, but this is so far gone compared to what it used to be. And I mean, how old are you?
I'm 45.
Okay, I'm 61. I was born in 1963, and I lived in Brooklyn, New York. So a very different place than even Philadelphia in that area. Okay. So I saw a lot of this.
I just want to say, we see all the comments online.
Please,
you're welcome.
Like this guy commented.
You are welcome to call us 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Please call us.
So I understand what you're trying to do, but I think that by saying, you're trying to empower black people to come and learn investing. That's what I think is what you're.
And that is phenomenal.
Let me finish.
The altruistic vision is phenomenal.
Yeah. What were you getting ready to say?
So I think it's great that you're trying to do that, but I think that and I'm not going to say but the approach that you're taking to do it is very secular. Like you're making sure that, hey, black people come and look because maybe you're not going to be comfortable in these areas. Come here because it'll be all black people so that we can talk about whatever. That's the impression that I get. Like I'm all for anybody getting education, but I also think it's that person, whoever that person is, needs to come in and say, I want to learn how to do this, and I don't care what color I am. I need to learn how to do this from whoever you are because you have that experience and I don't.
And stay closer to your microphone.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is you guys don't like the name, but I'm also not hearing what was the alternative. No. I didn't finish the sentence.
Look at man taking control, man. I love it.
What was the alternative when groups were indifferent? Because you didn't care.
You said it was indifferent. You said no one cared that you were black when you walked in the room.
Indifferent, meaning
whether
you're there or you're not.
But it's not exclusionary that way, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, let's go to the Philadelphia Real Estate Investors Group. Nothing in that title says it's only for you. It's only for you. It's very inclusionary. It says you can come if you're a woman. You can come if you're black. You can come if you're Greek. Who cares?
How inclusionary is it in reality? See, we have to be careful, right? Just because you don't call a thing doesn't mean it's not a thing, right? If I call,
but you're calling it a thing, and it is a thing.
Hold on. If I call a knife a spoon and just keep calling it a spoon, it's still a knife. So if you have a group, no matter what you call it, right, and it is 99% white. It is what it is. I'm not saying that's not a bad thing. And I did not have bad experiences there.
The name is to approach. I get it. The name is to approach.
It is what it is.
But
I think that part of it is sort of hard for you guys to kind of wrap your mind around. Is how would somebody else feel that would those folks in
so you keep yelling at us about
regardless
feelings and you don't want to hear about our feelings, but now you're reversing that and
I'm
saying
not yelling, but
I'm just saying you're bringing up that point of you guys keep feeling this. That's what I keep but you're saying the same thing. Well, these people feel this. So what I'm saying is that if you have Joe Blow Real Estate Investor Group, there's nothing that says that somebody can come and there's nothing that says that somebody can't come. It's all about that person wanting to learn about whatever it is that they're learning about so that they can come. So there's nothing in there that says you can't come, you can't come. It doesn't say women can come and men can't. It doesn't say that men can come and women can't. It doesn't say anything to that effect. But if you're saying it's a black group, I'm not going to go to a black group because, clearly I'm not black. So
remember when you said you went to the first group and it was mostly white people there? And if it would have said white real estate investor group, you just wouldn't have walked in the door. And that's what the difference is of what we're trying to say. Yeah. Now, I want to address a couple of people online because there are people who hate you and there are people who hate me right now online. And there's one guy, I think it's
Michael dropped off. Michael dropped off.
Okay, that's fine. But there's one guy online who's like really, he's just like he's spewing the DEI stuff, which I'm not a fan of DEI, but I got to tell you. Dan does have credibility. You're saying he doesn't have any credibility. He does have credibility. Yeah. He just I don't know what the word I want to use. In fact, I'll be honest with you, he's a really great real estate investor. I'm going to talk about that in the second part of the show. But he has a lot of credibility. However, we're still talking about just one specific thing, and that's it. Now we got other people over here. We got Michael saying, Michael, you could call back. Michael, you can call back. Now I know who it is. Michael Ho called in. Okay. So you could call back, and then somebody else is saying that I'm interrupting you, and I'm really not. I mean, you've had most of the words in this entire show so far.
Well, I'm the one being interviewed, so hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that either. What else? We got a couple other people making some interesting comments. All right, let's get this guy. Is it Father Nicholas? Is that right? Father Nicholas, you're on the line? What's going on?
This guy is a kid from Kensington, K&A, that graduated Edison High School, which has the largest death toll of Vietnam veterans of any high school in America. It's the first time I'm on your show. I'm also a former famous rock jock back in the 60s, ran the Wibbage Hops, but enough about me. I'm listening to your show on the air. I listen to Walter Sterling all the time, so now I'm listening to you. And the first thing I have to say, if I can go on, if you want to cut in, do so, and then I'll continue.
Your opinion is welcome here as long as you stay within the boundaries of the FCC.
Of course, listen, I'm a Catholic priest, 46 years, fella. And I'm also a disabled vet from Iraq. I was in Desert Storm in 90. Listen, first of all, using the word black doesn't cause anything to me. If a man, a person, a woman, anybody puts something down like that, it simply connotates that they have a certain audience they're trying to reach.
That's exactly what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying. Yeah. Yes.
I don't understand why there's any controversy to begin with. It'd be no different to me putting Father Realty for being a priest.
Well, it's not Father, but you could say you're Catholic, correct? Catholic, correct? You're Catholic?
I'm a Catholic priest retired.
Yeah, so if you said you were going to create a Catholic real estate investing group, would I have the same problem? And the question is, I don't know. Now, it's funny because I didn't think about religion, but I did think about...
but it wouldn't. But why? No. I'm trying to reach an audience. It's simple as that. I'm trying to reach an audience.
Yeah, and you...
Why would a Protestant be offended no more than if somebody said this is the
right,
Protestant
but would a Protestant show up
to
the
Jewish realty?
Okay, slow down. Let's do it this way. Would a Jew show up to a Catholic real estate group?
Sure, absolutely. Why not? I go to the synagogue every 3 months with a buddy of mine that's a former famous disc jockey, Steve Rosenberg, Steve Boom Boom Cannon. I pray my Hail Marys while everybody else is shaloming. And I don't mean that politely.
But you must agree that the first impression for a Catholic group is that it is for Catholics.
Right. So it's hard. So would a Jew show up?
But it does not automatically discount others can come in. Why would you think
Fair
that?
But no, I like it. But how about this, right?
White.
How about this? How about Christmas? How about like if if you were inviting a bunch of Jews to a Christmas dinner, should they feel comfortable?
Well, it's up to them. I have no problem. I go to Seder's.
I love it. Okay, all right, good. I appreciate you. I'm going to go to the next person, actually, okay? Thanks, Father. We appreciate you calling in. Hey, Todd, what's going on, man? Talk to me about how you agree with Dan.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. So it's interesting when people hear the word black and they get somewhat offended. And it's like, it's not.
No, not offended.
I didn't get offended.
Not
I felt
offended.
excluded. It's very different. I was not offended at all. I mean, I told you before, Dan is my friend. My only thing was I felt excluded. I felt like I couldn't be part of this group because of the word black in the beginning of it. That's all.
Okay. So you felt excluded.
Yeah, excluded. Not offended, excluded.
I can understand where Daniel's coming from because
I can too.
A lot of my experience, especially in real estate, I can tell you right now what little I did do. You get some strange responses, and it's people are going to be people. You don't take it personal, but I'm a part of a real estate investing women's group that they send me stuff all the time. Do I get offended because they know I'm not a woman, but I don't get offended, and they're extremely nice and friendly. I just think, to be honest with you, I think it's taken. Okay, I think it's taken a little too personal. Personally,
okay.
Without having the conversation,
you have to understand that was the point of this
man.
radio show. Was Dan and I had a little conversation, and I intentionally didn't talk to you all week because I knew that anything we talked about would make this show not good. So
Sure.
I wasn't ignoring you. I actually just I knew that we like at times I tell Deb and Omri, when there's a topic we want to talk about, we can't talk about it until we're on the show. So just know that I wasn't avoiding you because of this. I just needed to make sure that the show would be as good as it was.
Sure.
No, Todd. So everything Dan's saying, I agree with, except for the name, and that's the only problem I have with it. And I mean, if you don't have a problem with it, that's okay too. I get it.
The name don't describe what this group is.
It does describe
It
it.
very-
It describes
very
it very
clearly.
well.
No.
Black Real Estate
It describes
Alliance
it very
Group.
well.
I get that there is no only before the word black, but I'm just saying the name of the group is a bit, to me, you look at it that it creates a more comfortable environment for black people to come and to know that there are other black real estate investors and they can meet them there. To me, it's the other side. To me, it's the fact that maybe some of them will come because they know that they won't meet other white real estate investors there, and it's like it's exactly the opposite of what everything you describe you want to do.
All right, but so again, we're very clear about what our values are, and we're very clear about who is welcome, which is everyone, and we make that very clear. So what you're asking me to do is now for me to be in control of how people accept the message.
I get exactly what you do.
And that's not my responsibility. And the other thing that I don't hear from any of the guests, which is very important, because right now we're focusing on Bragg. Well, I hear no solutions when there were groups that were 99% white, and there was no interest in trying to really
I don't think that's true.
bring. Well, you thinking it's not true doesn't really matter. I mean, that was the experience. So
that's the result. That's not the experience. The result. There are no black people there, which I agree with you. There aren't enough, but I don't know. I don't have the answer for why, because those groups.
Well, I'm not looking for the answers for why. What I'm saying is, what would have been a better solution?
No, it's not a better solution.
I agree.
It's not the point.
Well, why? But you're again. That's very dismissive of what I'm saying.
Yeah,
why
I'm trying to think it out. I'm having trouble thinking it out because.
But why is that not the point? Or otherwise, I could say, you know what? I understand that there's all these benefits here, and folks are not getting this benefit. So,
but do you really think that the people in your group would not learn real estate if it wasn't for a group called Black Real Estate Investor Group?
Look at the room.
No, that's what I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Do you think that the people in your group? Now, you had an event this morning, correct?
Yes.
And was it? How many people were there?
We had about 50 people.
Okay. And how many of
There were a few other races, but mostly black.
No, that's fine. So those black people there, do you believe that if you didn't form a group called Black Real Estate Investor Alliance Group, that they would not get education?
So it's not what I think. We can look. See,
That's the fact, I guess.
Let me answer. You're asking me what I think. We can look at it. Look at my rooms when I have events, and then look at other rooms. So it's either you believe these folks don't want to get education, or there's a reason why they're not showing up here and they're showing up here. This is not about what I think. We can look, and there is objective proof to say, hey, for some reason, it sure it is.
The name of your group is
you're going back to the
people.
name.
But if you're correct, that these people would not have got, I'm hoping,
let's take my group out of it. When we're looking
your
at
group is very important.
But I'm
because your group is the sample.
I understand.
It's the success.
But
you
what
are
I'm
the
saying
success
is,
story.
What is the reason that other groups? I'm not doing anything differently as far as what I'm teaching. I'm teaching pretty much the same information.
Right.
If we look at things, let's just take the black out of it, so people don't have a problem for 1 second. What's going on? That at this event there's a spec. There's a few folks there, and at this event there's a room full. So there's either you would believe that they don't want the information, or there's something about the way it's being marketed that it's not attractive.
White people aren't showing up because it's called White Real Estate Investor Group.
I don't understand that.
Because you have a room full of black people because it specifically says Black Real Estate Alliance Group.
I'm talking about the other groups.
No, but I'm talking about your group, okay? Specifically your group. And this is exactly where my question, and it's the same question, and I don't know if you're not hearing it or not understanding it or avoiding it. I don't know which one. But if you didn't have your group, would those 50 people today still learn how to invest in real estate?
How could I possibly know that answer?
I know. But if the answer was no, they could not, then you have to have your group, and it's a must.
They want. You know why they want?
You're trying to set. Hold on for a second. But you want to set. You want to set the program for how they learn. Like who put you into that position?
Not how they learn.
Or where they learn.
No, not where they learn. If you're telling me that these people were avoiding groups because they were mostly white people,
I didn't say that.
You must have your group.
So I didn't say that.
I understand. And
I didn't say that. I said, so let's be very, very clear, because you're not going to put words in my mouth. What I said was, if you look at the other groups, just look at them and look how many black people are in those groups. And these are not bad groups. These are not groups that say we don't want black people. I'm being very clear about that. So you either have to believe that black people don't want to be educated,
right,
or there's something, and I don't know exactly what that might be, but something about the group that is not attracting black folks to that group.
And if that's true, then once again, you must have your group.
Yes, I agree.
Real quick, I gotta go. I'm gonna go to Shay.
We have Todd yet.
Let's go to Shay. Shay, can you?
Hello, everyone.
What's happening, Shay?
Hello.
So tell us what your thoughts are on this.
First, I've met Larry in person. I could say I agree with him. He says he's not racist. However, I feel like coming from a person who is of color and is a woman, I understand the title of Dan's group, because I graduated 2013 and I didn't know black people even invested or investing in real estate was a thing until 10 years later. And by having groups like this, where he's reaching an audience that never knew they were capable of investing or leaving the 9-to-5, like Debbie says, I don't.
Let her finish.
Capable?
Go ahead.
Yes,
let her
capable, because we came from, in history in this country, we were denied education. We were denied certain resources, business loans, and other factors that would have caused generational wealth. So by having a group like this, and he's saying that it's not excluding people of any color, but the title itself doesn't necessarily mean it's racist. I've been to women's groups where I've seen men in the women's business networking events, and they weren't. Oh, I'm sorry that happened to Larry, where he was flat out told no, but it's not.
But as an educated,
you from stop ongoingly what to do.
But as an educated woman, you would know whether you're an educated man or an educated woman, that if you're looking to get into real estate or anything, it doesn't matter if it's real estate or becoming a doctor or being a bricklayer, it doesn't really matter, that if you're interested in whatever it is that you're interested in, that you can go out and find that information regardless of your color or your creed.
And when you're at those institutions like I was, and it was a predominantly Asian institution, people will look at you and say, oh, you just got in here because you were black. And that, to me, was offensive. Like, I did not work hard and just get in here, and you guys think I'm automatically accepted into this curriculum just because of the color.
But
if we take those silent micro...
That one or two or 10 persons shouldn't dictate how you will behave.
That's right.
And how you will see the rest of the world.
I just think
this is the minority.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I
said. So I just think one of the biggest things that you guys are missing, and maybe because it's hard to put yourselves in those shoes, is we're not saying that black people don't know that these groups are there and that they can get the information from
them. You're saying they won't go.
That's very clear. What I'm saying is there's something happening, and I'm not in the minds of other black people or the white folks that go to those groups. Something's happening where they're not being attracted to go to those groups.
Do you know why?
Something.
Okay.
Hey, you could cut Shay off.
And that's a reality. And so we can keep saying that we intellectually know that these groups exist. Of course, people intellectually know that, but there's some reason, and we can't dismiss that there's some reason that en masse, they're not showing up.
But you have the solution for that, because you can ask your student today why, if they're so into real estate investor, why they didn't go before.
No,
I'm very interested.
That's a curious thing, but he doesn't have to do that. Hold on.
I know, but
wait. I just need to take control of the time for a moment. Okay. First of all, Dan, why don't you let everybody know how they could join your group?
Sure.
Because I think there is benefits to your group no matter what, whether I feel excluded or not.
Good.
So let people know how they could join your group.
Sure. They can check out braginvestors.com. That's braginvestors.com. They can also follow us on Instagram, which is Brag Investors, and we have a Facebook group, Brag Investors as well. No, we have it.
I tried to find it. Couldn't find it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So look, here's the deal, right? I personally believe that there is a lack of, well, I shouldn't even say a lack of, because it's not even true anymore. I'm going to actually reverse exactly what I was going to say. I am so happy that there are so many black people, if you want to say, that are now learning real estate investing and are now stepping up and saying, hey, you know what? I'm tired of being told by the man or whatever Democrat Party, which drives me nuts, that I can't do this stuff anymore because I've been told that I've been systematically, what's the word?
Oppressed? Oppressed?
Yeah, oppressed. Thank you. Right, and now they're standing up and saying, and I love your thing because you do this all the time. You post all the time. I'm not a victim.
Absolutely.
And I love that, and that's one of my favorite things about Dan. Is Dan. Right, that's all he is. He steps up and he does what he needs to do. He's become a great real estate investor. I'm kind of hoping we can talk about some of your deals. We're going to run out a little bit of time, but he's become a great real estate investor, and now he's out there teaching other people how to do this. And that's exactly what I want to do, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what you're doing. And I'm proud of what you're doing as a friend. Right, I love the fact that you're doing that. Again, all I did was I felt excluded, and it's funny because you're actually seeing it online. You're seeing the controversy back and forth. You got one guy who's like really,
he's a little
off. So
this
guy's
off the wall, right?
Well,
but then you got another guy. I mean, we got Nathan here, who actually I know Nathan, and he says, and I'm a little annoyed at this comment, right? It says, I think Larry is a little salty since black folks don't go to his events like he wants. Are you out of your freaking mind, Nathan? Not only do black people come to my events, but it's not that I want black people to come to my events. I want people to come to my events. Yeah. I don't categorize people in black and white.
That's the problem we have with the name. That's the only problem we have with the name.
Exactly right.
That's it. The problem with the name, you did it to empower black people to invest in real estate.
And then you got
which is admirable. But what you say is this could happen without putting the word black
I believe that
in
too.
the name.
Yes.
He say
Of
it
course
wouldn't.
No.
It may not.
No. I never said that. So let's be clear. Again, we have to stop assuming. I never said that. I could have done this absolutely and not put the word black in there. I decided.
No, of course you. No, of course. I
want to be clear.
Yeah.
That was a choice.
Yeah.
Because
It's a marketing choice.
And the
it
reasons
was-
he did it were great reasons.
Larry, let me.
But they're great reasons.
Let him talk.
But let me finish.
Let him talk.
I could have chosen any name that I wanted. Obviously, I'm black, and so in that group I would have been able to connect with. But I wanted to make it very clear about the group that I'm serving. It seems like there are a ton of special interest groups for everybody.
Correct.
The fact that there's an issue with the word black, I think that speaks to some internal issues. Listen to, just let me
Let him finish.
But just let me finish.
Right.
This is something you have to internally check yourself and say, what is it about that? I know we're in a hyper racial time, right? This is a group that never said anything negative about white folks at all.
Sure. Yeah,
right?
Sure,
that's true. That's not a part of any of our value sets. I wouldn't even allow it. Anybody who knows me and has been around me, I've been in this business a long time, Larry, and a lot of people know me. And there is not an ounce. I can't speak for everybody, but I can't imagine there'd be anybody who knows me that says, yeah, I've always thought Dan was kind of racist. That's
no way.
That's a ridiculous statement.
I have to interrupt you because there's somebody online. Steve, what's going on, Steve? What do you have to say?
Hey, just to throw a thought in here. When I was back in the late 80s, early 90s, I was taking Taekwondo lessons at Beaver College with a black gentleman who owned a cleaning company, and he hired me to do to do houses and stuff in North Philly, and he had a son, and they had a company. It was called Black Ski, and it was for black people who that it was like a ski club, but it was Black Ski, and it was for black people.
Black ski, like
Black
skiing.
ski.
Oh, black ski.
Yeah, black ski.
Ski, like you're skiing.
Seed. Oh, okay.
Ski.
I'm sorry. I have trouble
Ski.
hearing it. That was such a word. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Black seed. Okay.
I didn't think anything of it, but I mean, I knew
seed, making grass seeds. Is that what he said?
Ski, S-K-I.
Like
black
whoosh
ski.
whoosh down the mountains.
Oh my goodness.
Whoosh down the mountain. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
Like physical activity.
Because if he said black seed, I would have said that would have been a really bad one. But okay.
No, but I don't know. It just seemed it was weird, because it had to do with what you guys were talking about, and I just don't. I didn't see. I mean, his dad hired me. It was like no racial thing, but I mean, it was racial that he was trying to get people, black people to join his ski club.
Yeah,
obviously.
It's the same thing. It's to empower black people.
Right.
I get it.
Well, it's also because there's a need. If there's a need,
yes.
If there was not a need,
See,
like
every time you say that, it makes me feel really good that you did this.
You are a capitalist. You understand. You could have all kinds of ideas. If there's no need, people wouldn't show up, right? It would prove itself to say, this doesn't make sense, right? There's all these other opportunities. We can go a million different places, right? We don't need a black real estate alliance group, because our needs are being met elsewhere. The reason the group is growing so well is because there's a need.
Why?
Now, but hold on one second. Now, rather you have to you don't have to do anything, but you may want to accept that there's a piece of this you just don't understand, and that's fine.
No,
like there would be a piece there would be a piece of your life that I wouldn't understand because I never experienced it. And I just say, you know what? That's just outside of my life experience. But obviously, there's something there because it's attracting people, and I don't need to understand it, nor do I need to do I need to approve of it.
Yeah. By the way, Glenn, you can let Steve go. He's got a lot of noise. All right. So here's the deal, right? So the more you speak, the more you convince me that I'm being selfish by having the feelings that I have that I was not that I was excluded, that I called it racist. Okay, I still feel excluded just because of the name. All right, and at this point, everybody in the group probably hates me anyway, so I'm definitely excluded. But that's a different issue.
This guy's going off.
I know.
He's losing it.
No, that's not right. I mean, look, listen. You know, Spicoli.
You should
you
do
are,
exactly.
Listen, Spicoli, you're not only a racist, but you're an obnoxious person. Okay, so why don't you go watch a different show and leave us alone? Because it's at the point where like you're so annoying that I just don't want to see any more of your comments.
You should do exactly the opposite. You should go and speak in his group
only if you allow
to
me.
show to show
question,
the
Larry?
accent. Yes.
Larry, could I ask a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
So Dan, I just want to ask you really quick. Do you think having the name, and I understand, and I think I agree with you for the most part, but do you think the name and the mission of the company, do you think it does anything to sort of enable that mentality that, gee, I'm not welcome at Larry's place, or I'm not welcome somewhere else?
I mean, so to be honest, I think that it could. But what's most important to me is serving the community that I'm looking to serve, right? But if you again, I believe we're a lot of us are in such a place of just knowing. We're not curious any longer. So we're leading with this knowing.
Yes.
If you were curious enough to say, hey, maybe there's a reason why he did this. I wonder why. I've been around this guy. I've seen him. He doesn't seem like a vicious guy. Maybe there's a reason. Let me show up and see. Oh, wow, I was warmly greeted. I see the reason that he's doing this because there was a part of the community that's investing that was not being served. Now, if you're in a space of knowing, then it doesn't matter what I say. You have made your mind up. And I'm the villain like this guy here.
Yeah, it's
right?
terrible.
I mean, it's just kind of funny because I understand. And the reason why, and I want to say this, and like truly, because many people text me and told me not to come up here. Many, many people. Not just black, white, all kinds of people. I really feel like we need real conversations, right? With people that we don't necessarily agree with, and especially on racial issues. We got to stop being so PC about everything. But there's no way that we can learn about each other and grow. And I'm not talking about kumbaya. I'm not looking for kumbaya. But we need to get to a place of understanding, right? We need to get to say, oh, well, I never really thought about that. That's kind of interesting. Whether you agree with me or not, there are tons of things I don't know and I've never thought about. And you may, speaking to somebody, I speak to people I disagree with all the time. It's how I grow. Right. And so that's why I came up here against everybody telling me not to, because I'm really hoping that people hear this conversation and at least gain some understanding.
I appreciate you. We're actually totally out of time, and I'm so glad you came. And here's my final take. Right, my final take is I shouldn't have been so sensitive. And I agree with you that there's a need for it. I'm still hung up on the name. And that's it. All right. Yeah. This is Larry Steinhouse. Thank you for listening to the show. I want to thank Dr. Deb. I want to thank, of course, Omri for being here. Most importantly, I want to thank Dan Harvey, because I'll tell you what, man, it took guts to be here, even though you were told several times not to come here.
We enjoyed it very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I want to, of course, thank Glenn Page. I want to thank all the listeners. And I want to let you guys know that you can come to Investor Schooling. That's Investor Schooling. And you can take a class anytime. Actually, this Thursday night. So go to investorschooling.com and show up. See you Thursday.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions and statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of PhD.
Thanks, man.
Odyssey.
All right.
Are we done?
Next week.